cheating in video games, duplicating items in video games, using glitches in video games. It's very fun, and it's also going to yield you with lots of different useful things. It's going to give you material things, it's going to give you happiness, it's going to give you money. But life, it's not all about just material things, happiness and money. It's also about the struggle of actually getting your things the way that you are supposed to get your things. In this video we're going to be doing just that. I'm just going to show you a real good farming method that I have been using throughout my entire playthrough, and that is just all in all my favorite place to farm every time that there is a blood moon. What is up, you damn gorgeous and beautiful gamers? Welcome back to the Role-Playing Games. This is Mariel Coney. They never like to discuss about RPGs. If you like content, like everybody, super appreciated. No one's told you today you're gorgeous and beautiful person. You're indeed a gorgeous and beautiful person. Let's get right into it. So, there's going to be a little bit of a preparation. We're going to begin right here. There's going to be that little guy, bot, that is going to be right here. That's where the quest is going to start. For the people that have not spoken to him just yet, it's just the little guy that's right in here. He's going to request for you to go to the depths, and in the depths you will find him right here. Well, there's going to be a dude that is going to tell you to go find him at a different place. Just follow that quest for that guy to move over to the Hateno village. In here, once he moves to the Hateno Ancient Tech Lab, he's going to request for different things. This is everything that we're speaking about right here. It is not a mandatory thing. It is not a thing that you need to do for this thing to work. Actually, it's just going to make your life that much easier. So, you're going to speak with him right here, and he's going to give you the quest to give you the warp technology. That thing is going to require for you to go all the way over here to the to Akala, and in the Akala Ancient Tech Lab, there's what you're going to find what you're looking for right in there. You come back to him right here, and then you deliver him the thing that was supposed to be given to him, which is going to reward you with the travel medallion. It could be upgraded, but just one charge of this thing is going to be more than enough for us to do what we're going to do right now. So now let's try to get a weapon, right? For the weapon, we're going to find it on Hyrule Castle. To get that, we're going to need to use the Lookout Landing Skyview Tower. We're going to launch ourselves from right here, and it's going to require for a little bit of stamina for you to get here. So I would advise for you to have at least 2 charges, which means 5 shrines that you have. Well, not really 5 shrines, 20 shrines that you're going to need to have. Right now, I have maxed out that thing, so yeah, there is indeed that. But you can also use dishes to get to this place, which they are not that difficult to make. To get these things, all you have to do is try to farm for stamina balls, or I do not remember the thing what they're called, but there's lots of them on the Sky Islands, so you can definitely farm them. Usually in here is where I find them the most. Then again, once you manage to be on the castle, we're going to head over to the throne room, which is going to be just right here in the middle, in the center of it all. You're going to face away from the throne room, and you're going to get over through this little archway door thing that we have right here. We're going to jump down. Most of the people is already going to be aware of what am I doing right here, but this is a necessary step. I do not want to launch you guys into the nothingness. Jump down to this place. There's a whole of the different things that you can get, but this is what we're going to try to look for: a Royal Scarred Claimer, and we're going to break it. How can I break it? Well, you basically take this bad boy and you jump and attack until it breaks. Eventually it's going to give you something like this. Mine is stronger because I have attached a silver Lionel something horn into this thing, but you are going to be able to do this as well. It's just going to take you a little while longer. So now let's go to where we're going, and you're also going to need a bow. Very important, just one bow, just one. That's it. You're going to get plenty of bows to the place that we're going, so do not worry about that much. Just a single regular bow for the first Lionel that we're going to kill. And we're going to go, of course, to the Floating Colosseum. This is my favorite farming place, and I'm going to explain to you why are we going to get so many things out of this place, and why is it my favorite farming spot in the entirety of the game, and as a matter of fact, why it should be yours, and why you should be doing the Floating Coliseum every time that you get the chance. So to get to the Floating Coliseum, we're going to start in Central Hyrule. We have a thing right here, a chasm right here, which is the Hyrule Field Chasm. You're going to drop down from there, and you're going to be able to light the... You should be already have done all of this when you were trying to find that little guy that we were speaking about earlier. But what you're going to do is you're going to head south right here to the Nikiyam Light Route, south again to the Nukuyuk Light Route, and as a matter of fact, the closest thing to get to this place, it's going to be actually the Great Plateau North Chasm. So it's going to give you this light route. You're going to light it. It's still going to be dark. So my advice is for you to try to explore a little bit the depths. Light this thing up. Light this as well. And light this as well. And should have all of this place with enough light for you to traverse, because this is where you're going to go through. You're going to follow this route, not worry about the gray area. It's just simple water if you want to swim. Then again, me my guest, it's up to you. And this is where we're going to place our travel medallion, because we're going to be visiting this place quite a lot of time. So let me explain to you why and what are we going to get from this thing. So let's talk about the fight. What can we do to make the fight easier? What can we do to cheese the fight? And let's talk about the benefits and why do we want to farm this place every time that we are going to have the chance to farm this place. First and foremost, you can cheese the fight by using your bow to deal a headshot into a Lionel, and then use your weapon that we just recently acquired to attack from behind back. You mount the Lionel and then you attack. While you're mounted on the Lionel, you're not going to deal durability damage to your weapon, meaning that you can use this thing throughout the entirety of the fight. What can we do to cheese those headshots? As you can see me doing right here, I am not doing such a thing because I just got accustomed to the fight. You're going to most likely going to be able to get accustomed to the fight as well. But if you want to cheese the fight, you can use something like bring fans. Place a fan on the ground, fly up, cheese the slow motion animation onto the enemies, and that is going to be more than enough for you to be able to deal with all of this. And you're going to be cheesing your headshots and whatnot. There's a whole bunch of different reasons. I'm pretty sure that lots of people are going to come up with different ideas into how to get those headshots out of the Lionels. And then all you have to do is just basically that. Another thing that we're going to have in mind is that there's going to be a Lionel at the end of the fight. It's going to be a silver Lionel that is going to have a rock armor. What you're going to want to do is look for those little things that you're going to be recuperating from the battlefield, the things, the materials, the weapon materials that the Lionels are going to be dropping onto the battlefield to make a hammer. To make that hammer, you're going to just basically place the material on the ground and fuse it into your weapon, and that is going to allow you to break the Lionel armor, the final Lionel armor, meaning that you're also going to get a free mount once you get used on that guy, and you're going to most likely deal very much high damage onto the Lionel's armor, because the weapon that you're going to be using at this point is going to be a Lionel material weapon, fuse material onto your weapon. Also, you have an infinite amount of savage bows, and you're going to have the basic tiers first. There's going to be the mighty Lionel bow and whatnot, but talking about that, let's talk about the benefits of farming this place and why do we want to farm this place. So to be able to farm this place, you're going to have to come every blood moon. There is no way to cheese a blood moon, there is no way of forcing a blood moon. All you have to do, or you have to know about blood moon, is that it's going to happen at some point while playing in-game. There is no way to cheese it by sleeping on inns or by gathering materials or killing monster. It is just going to happen at some point into the game while you're playing. Another thing to have in mind is that the blood moon is not going to trigger. This is something that I have tested extensively. The blood moon is not going to trigger while you're on the underground, while you're on the depths. So to trigger a blood moon, you have to be on the surface. That is the only way that the blood moon is going to happen. But every time there's a blood moon, you're going to be able to come back to this place. And what we're going to get from this place are going to be charges. Each Lionel that you kill is going to give you 20 crystallite charges, meaning that you're going to walk out of this place every time with 100 crystallite charges. That way, every time that you visit this place, you're going to be able to get one charge out of your batteries for your Sony devices. So that is one thing that we're going to have. Second thing that we're going to have is going to be materials that we're going to be using for selling. As you can see, the Lionel guts. Usually, if you're lucky enough, you're going to be walking away from this place with 5 Lionel guts. That means 1,000 rupees, because you can sell these bad boys for 200 each. But you can also sell the rest of the materials that you may or may not get from this thing, like the horns or everything else that the Lionel is going to give you and that you're not going to need for that specific something. You're not going to need the basic Lionel materials, because the only material that you're going to be using to fuse your weapon, it's going to be either the Silver Lionel Saber Horn and Silver Lionel Mace Horn. Meaning the rest of the Lionel materials that you get from this place, you're going to be able to sell them, because you're not going to be using them for anything else. That is what you're going to be farming for. Also, arrows. Every time that you defeat one of those guys, he's going to give you arrows. And as you can see, I've already maxed out to some extent my arrows right here, because every time that you kill those guys, they're going to give you from 10 to 20 or 30 arrows, so that is something extra that you're going to get as well from this fight. So summing everything out of this thing, you're going to get the most powerful materials in the entire game for the most powerful weapons. You're going to get a steady amount of rupee farming, you're going to get a steady amount of arrows farming, and you're going to get a steady amount of farming for crystallized Sony charges to max out your Sony devices as soon as possible. And you're just basically playing the game. And then again, you're going to come back to this place every time that you get the chance to come to this place. Every time that there is a blood moon. There's a blood moon on your game, then you come back and do this, and then continue moving forward doing the regular stuff that you wouldn't normally regularly do. This is my favorite farming spot. I just love this place, and I hope that you love it as much as I do. If you like content, like the birds, super appreciate it. No, absolutely, today you're gorgeous and beautiful person. You are indeed a gorgeous and beautiful person. Like the video, subscribe to the channel before you close the door, and I'll be seeing you goddamn gorgeous and beautiful people in the next one. Have a beautiful day, and goodbye.
Dale, Zelda, dale, pásame la trifuerza que tengo hambre. Tráeme una botella de soda grande, que me están esperando la prieta en Gerudo Valley. Dale, Zelda, dale, pásame la trifuerza que tengo hambre. Y tráeme una botella